Chapter 1. The day that Adrian has been waiting for has finally arrived. It is finally the day that his parents promised him that they will get him the capsule game pod for the fully immersive virtual reality, FIVR game, Pandemonium. He waited a whole year for this very moment, especially after the incident that made him unable to stand up, which happened about a year and a half from today. Nevertheless, this could be considered the happiest day of his life. He basically waited a lifetime just to be able to play this game. It is finally being installed. I have been waiting for this virtual reality game ever since it came out, Adrian told his parents. We bought this game for you not to laze around and become addicted, but for you to regain the feeling of walking which you ingeniously suggested to your doctor, coined Adrian's parents. It has been a year and a half since his accident. The doctor said that they have healed his legs and fractures thanks to modern technology, but because he was unable to walk in a long time, Adrian forgot the feeling of using his legs, which greatly depressed him. He underwent therapy, but to no avail. Until 6 months after the incident, Atlas Incorporated announced that they will officially release Pandemonium to the public. Adrian practically hounded the forums, watched the beta test, and gathered all the information about the game. His parents, though smiling sadly, still had a face of reprieve because their son was basically jumping for joy in a way. The installation has been finished, Sir Richard, and it also has a timer for only 8 hours a day in which you specified since your son is still 17 years of age. One of the installers stated as they bid farewell. Thank you very much, Richard, who is Adrian's father, said. Hey, why is there a time limit? Nobody said about a time limit, Adrian protested, although he already knows why that is. For ages 13 and below, a guardian is needed to accompany the child, while for those 14 to 17 years of age a time limit is decreed for them, since they can play unsupervised, although there are ways around that. Adrian's parents just smiled because they know how crafty he is and said, have fun, and be respectful to other people you meet. Also be careful of creepy people, stay away from them. Also do not rage over defeats because winning is not everything. Take care of yourself inside the game and be in your best behavior. We are letting you play unsupervised because we trust you, and make sure not to break that trust. Just as they were saying that, he already set his wheelchair to hover mode and is already getting inside the game pod. The game pod is an egg-shaped machine that has a cream white color. The surface is smooth so that it ensures the user less cleaning maintenance. The inside of the pod has soft cushions that conform to the user inside, which optimizes maximum comfort, and it could rival any high-class bed on sale in the market. After getting on the pod, he told his parents, thanks Mom and Dad. You guys are the best, which he then closed the pod without waiting for a reply. Scanning pleat, enter Atlas pleat, welcome, user my crafty son. Wow, Dad, that is so original, Adrian thought. User has selected Pandemonium. Please wait a moment as the game boots up in 10 seconds. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Welcome to Pandemonium. Reminder: every subscription helps us bring you more great content. Please subscribe to El Naudio on YouTube. Chapter 2. Welcome to Pandemonium, user my crafty son. A mechanical voice stated in a flat tone. Please take note that the time perception in the game is in the ratio of 1 to 3, meaning 1 hour in the real world is equal to 3 hours in game. Please create your avatar and choose your race. Adrian looked at a virtual avatar that is a splitting image of him. First he looked at the available races that is available, which are human, elf, dwarf, orc, gnome, and the newly added dragonkin, which was added thanks to the best player unlocking it 8 months after the game was released. Humans are a race with balanced stats and adaptability, have balanced affinity with all elements. Elves are a race which has fey heritage, which allows them to communicate with spirits better, thus they have strong affinity with wind, water, and wood. Elves have pointy ears and a gentle facial features, which astounded Adrian. No wonder this race is popular with the women and girls, he muttered. Dwarves are a race of stubborn and hardworking people, which are well known as the blacksmith race. Dwarves have strong affinity to fire and earth. The dwarves have a small and stout but rather muscular-looking body with a reddish skin tone. Orcs are a brutish race that relies more on strength rather than magic, though that does not mean they cannot use magic. Orcs have an avatar that have a height of 2.5 to 3 meters and a face that has some features of a boar, since they have tusks, or rather giant lower canines, and have a orange-green skin tone. Gnomes are a race of great builders and inventors. They are short in stature like the dwarves but skinnier and resemble humans. Gnomes have strong affinity to earth and wind element. The newly added race is the Dragonkin. Dragonkins have human features except that they have horns, a tail, and scales on some parts of their body and dragon wings protruding from their back. This new race have strong affinity to wind attribute because of their ability to fly. This race boasts power almost equal to that of the orcs, which is now very popular to newbies and fans of the rank 1 player. Adrian picked the human race since he does not fancy the other races because he wants to also walk again in the real world because he wants to repay his parents' kindness and sacrifice to him by walking again in the real world. He did minimal changes to the facial characteristics of his avatar and no change to his height, which is 5 feet 6 inches, in order to be accustomed to the feeling of walking. After about an hour of tweaking, Adrian is finally done with his avatar. Please input a character name. Adrian thought long and hard about his character's name while he was waiting for it to arrive. Are you sure with the name? Equinox, the mechanical voice said. Yes, he replied. You will now be transported to the beginner town. Genesis, the mechanical voice said. Then Adrian's vision faded to black. Reminder: thank you for your time. If you'd like to support us, please subscribe to Elnaudio on YouTube. Chapter 3. When Adrian's vision returned, he was already in the town square, which had a fair amount of players because the game is still gaining popularity due to it being the first of its kind. Adrian quickly checked his status. Name: Equinox race. Human title: None job, None LVL. 1 EXP. 0 out of 100 HP. 100 MP. 30 VIT. 5 STR. 5 INT. 3 AGI. 4 DEX. 3 END. 5 available stat points. 0 skills. None from the character sheet. Adrian deduced that every point in VIT increases HP by 20, while each point in INT increases Northern Mariana Islands by 10. Adrian closed the character sheet and carefully observed his surroundings. His face formed a smile instinctively, and he bravely took a step forward, which he has not done in a long time, ever since the accident that happened to him. Adrian inhaled with all his might as he wanted to know if virtual reality is as cruel as reality. The thing that Adrian tried to do first is take a step. He was so nervous that his heart rate increased, and the system warned him that if he does not calm down, then he would be ejected out of the game. He finally mustered up the courage and took his first step. When he succeeded, his eyes almost became watery, which was somewhat noticed by the other players, but are already accustomed to it since it was not a rare sight, especially since the game was fairly new. When Adrian succeeded in taking the step, he felt the surroundings was watching. Therefore, he hastily went away from the town square. He was embarrassed yet ecstatic at the same time. He can finally move using his feet, though only in VR, but he knows the first step is always the most important. He was amazed at how this town could probably be a real town in the countryside, minus the swords and wands and the occasional magic that some NPCs release to show off. Adrian could even smell the scent of the food that is being sold in the food carts, and he was even tempted to buy one just to try it out. Unlike the modern city that Adrian is living in, the town of Genesis has a quaint feel in which you would miss it after you have visited it. Okay, now what should I do first? Adrian muttered. He remembered the important details of the town Genesis. In the town, you must first look for an instructor in what job you want. The beginner jobs available are warrior, mage, shaman, ranger, scout, priest, and the newly added job last month, which is summoner. The warrior job is basically your classic RPG warrior that is equipped with a sword and a shield. A job that focuses more on strength and endurance depending on what type of warrior you want. A warrior could also opt to equip a wide variety of weapons so that the players could choose on what type of battle style they would want to pursue. The mage job is also like the classic RPG mage, which uses spells and incantations to damage its foes. Mages start with non-elemental magic and could choose what type of elemental magic they could use. Shamans are fighters who are good at using buffs and debuffs and damage overtime spells. Pandemonium's shamans are a bit special because they could equip the spirit of animals they have been enlightened with. They are the class that could be summarized as being one with nature. Rangers are fighters who are adept at using weapons that can reach far and a classic RPG pick. There are a variety of long-range weapons in Pandemonium that could also decide on what path the ranger players could advance into. Scouts are fighters who rely on their nimbleness and agility to damage enemies. They are close combat fighters with throwing skills and could use invisibility. Priest is also a classic RPG role which is basically the healer of the group. Priests in Pandemonium are not all the same. The priests have different skills depending on which god they choose to serve. Summoners, which is a new addition to the roster, are basically like tamers who use captured monsters to fight for them to basically corner your enemies. In the game Pandemonium, the first choice is always the most important because it could decide the fate of your character and the gameplay you will experience. Reminder: thank you for your time. If you'd like to support us, please subscribe to Elnaudio on YouTube. Chapter 4. Many would think that the summoner job was overpowered due to its job characteristics, but the Pandemonium community would beg to differ. When the class was first released, a lot of beginners tried the job, but soon found out that the summons that job uses also funnels experience, which means that summoners have slower leveling speed. Especially if you have all your summons out, which will be dependent of the job class since jobs can be upgraded. Due to this quirk, the summoner job has lesser popularity to elite gamers, but somewhat popular for casual players who want to experience fluffing a monster or riding one. Another quirk, or rather flaw, of this job is that if the summoner falls in battle, his summons would be deactivated, thus some players call this job the walking target. This was the job that Adrian chose not because he is a loner. He has a few friends in-game, but they were already high level and it would take time for him to catch up. Thus he made a decision to enjoy the game rather than become a hardcore gamer. After walking for quite a bit, he finally reached his destination. He was standing outside the Genesis pet shop. He opened the door and saw a wide variety of animals and beasts, also Gaius, the summoner NPC that will give the player the requirements for you to acquire the job. He looked like a jolly old man, or like that old grandpa that all the grandchildren adore. "Hello. How can I help you, young man?" Gaius said. "I am Equinox and would like to become a summoner, please," Adrian said. "An aspiring summoner, I see. First, we need to test your compatibility with beasts then," Gaius said. A screen popped in front of Adrian. Quest: Gaius wants you to choose an animal in his shop and raise its affection towards you by 10%. Reward: Summoner job, basic soul gloves, beginner summoner armor set, inspect skill, seal skill, summon skill. Will you accept the quest? Yes or no? Yes, I accept, Adrian uttered. Please pick a beast that you want to raise its affection with, Gaius reiterated. Adrian remembered that the easiest way to accomplish this task is with a domesticated animal like dogs or cats. So he did just that. He scanned the shop and found an obsidian-colored puppy, so he reluctantly picked that one because it was a dog plus it was super adorable. "Hello there. I am Equinox. What is your name?" Adrian said. He obviously asked this sarcastically as he did not expect the pup to answer. The pup instead tilted its head to the side like it did care for Adrian's existence. It is not easy, as it seems like the forum dictated, Adrian thought, unaware that he was being observed by Gaius, who is smiling as the NPC thought. So he chose that puppy. He will definitely have a difficult time since even that puppy has not warmed up to me. Adrian spent an hour just to try and boost his affection by at least 1%, but instead only to see it at 0.2%. He barely raised it, but he was determined, and the puppy also noticed his determination as he was not the first to try and raise its affection. Many tried but gave up when half an hour passed. The puppy was amused by this human that wants to curry his favor. Adrian noticed the affection boost to 3%, which he was super delighted about that. He did a little celebratory dance that was silly in the eyes of the puppy. About 4 hours passed in-game, and finally Adrian managed to boost the affection to 10%, which he did painstakingly, but he did not notice it was that long since he was having fun. He took the puppy out of the cage, holding it in his arms, and went to Gaius. "Gaius, I did it," Adrian said. Although shocked and amazed, Gaius replied, "Well done, Equinox, you have passed the test with flying colors at that. Quest clear notification. Gaius is very pleased with your hard work and determination, thus you will obtain a bonus reward." Bonus reward? That's the first time I heard of that, Adrian thought. Received: Summoner job, basic soul gloves, beginner summoner armor set, inspect skill, seal skill, summon skill. Bonus reward: 100 experience. Dog, Demon Lupus Strain. Adrian equipped the item and looked at his status and equipment name. Equinox Race. Human Title. None Job. Summoner LVL. 2 EXP. 0/100% HP. 140 MP. 50 VIT. 5+2 STR. 5 INT. 3+2 AGI. 4+1 DEX. 3+1 END. 5 available stat points. 5 skills. Summon, Seal. Inspect equipment. Head, none body. Basic Summoner Robe Feet. Basic Summoner Boots Weapon. Basic Soul Gloves Earrings. None Necklace. None Waist. Basic Summoner Belt Right Hand. None Left Hand. None. Reminder. Your support means a lot. Please consider subscribing to Elnaudio on YouTube if you like these chapters. Chapter 5. Adrian wondered what it meant when it said demon strain, so he asked Gowis. Gowis, what does the word strain mean that is near the beast's name? Adrian curiously asked. Oh, good question, since that puppy right there seems to be quite special. Strain means that the creature possesses genes or blood of a species that is different from its specific type of organism. For example, a cat having a saber-tooth strain means that the cat is more powerful than your average cat in terms of stats. Gowis replied, Enough about that, you will learn more about it as you become more accustomed to being a summoner. Do you know why a summoner's weapon are called soul gloves? Gowis continued. As Adrian has already read this particular topic in the forums, he answered, It is called soul gloves because the summons that are not temporary are soulbound to the summoner. Meaning when you summon a soulbound creature, it does not permanently die even it is defeated in battle. The creature just returns to the soul space of the summoner and remains there until it can be summoned. The soul gloves are just a medium for us to call out the soulbound creature. Ho ho! So you know about it, very good then. There is another way to obtain a soulbound summon, since not all summons can become a tamed creature. Sometimes when you defeat a monster, it will drop a soul stone. A unique stone in which you can call upon the creature to become your monster using a summoning magic circle, but can only do it 3 times, since every time you call upon it to manifest, it consumes the residual soul power that is left in the stone, Gowis added. It seems you already know much about summoners. Why not try to soulbound that little puppy since it has grown attached to you? Gowis implied. Adrian looked at the puppy and it has this longing in his eyes. He knew that Gowis was supposed to give you an auxiliary quest that will give him a random soul stone, but it seems due to his unexpected bonus reward, he skipped that step and was directly given a summoned beast to soulbound. Adrian looked at the puppy and said to it, Do you want to come with me? Which the puppy barked enthusiastically. He looked at the puppy and smiled. He then put the puppy on the floor and activated his new skill seal. Glyphs of different meaning appeared in thin air, then circled the puppy, then a chain appeared, or rather sprouted from Adrian's avatar and shoot straight to the chest of the puppy, but it was not hurt. Adrian felt the puppy and him are now connected, then is the glyphs surrounding it glowed and formed a sphere around it and was sucked inside Adrian. Ding! Congratulations, you have acquired your first soul-bounded creature. Please give it a name. Adrian thought of a perfect name since it was quite literally a black dog. Sirius, he said. You named the soul-bound creature Sirius. Adrian then looked at Sirius' status. Name, Siru species. Dog, Demon Lupus strain. Infant, skills. Bite, Howl, Shadow Sneak evolution. Possible description. A domesticated dog with a secret in its bloodline. Reminder. Hope you're enjoying the adventure. For more, please subscribe to Elnaudio on YouTube. Chapter 6. Adrian used the summon skill to test it out since Sirius disappeared right in front of him after he used the seal skill on him. Skill. Summon description. Summons soulbound creature into the material plane. Cost. 20 MP. Summon Sirius. Adrian chanted. A magic circle of white outer rings with some black glyphs appeared in front of him, and from the center Sirius emerged. Awesome, Adrian said in a high-pitched voice. He thanked Gowis and left. As Adrian and Sirius was walking from the pet shop, he remembered a special NPC. This NPC was very odd since this NPC asks a player for food and drinks, and in exchange she will provide you with either a health or mana potion. If you give her a meal, she gives you 1 small HP potion. If you give her a beverage, she gives you 1 small MP potion. although she only gives one per character. So he headed to the supposed location of the NPC. Another potion wouldn't hurt, Adrian thought. As he headed there, he remembered that there should be an adventure starter kit that is given for each player. I have not opened mine yet, he thought. He opened his inventory and selected the starter kit. Ding! Would you like to open the adventure starter kit? Y/N he selected, yes. Received. Small HP potions X10, small MP potion X10, bread X10, bottled water X10, small potions restore 25% of missing HP/MP, greater potions restore 50%. Large restores 75% and 100 for complete potions, which is basically non-existent for casual players since it is difficult to drop and even more to produce. Adrian remembered. Adrian was deep in thought when Sirius started barking at a corner in the street, which awakened him from his deep thought. Before he knew it, they were already in front of the NPC he was trying to find. My oh my, what an energetic pup, the mysterious old woman muttered with a hint of amazement. I am sorry, ma'am. He is not really like this with other people. Adrian replied hastily while picking up Sirius. No worries. I think your pet is cute. Although having a pet in this town is rare. The name is Lucretia, by the way, young lad, Lucretia said as she also introduced herself. Oh, he is not a pet. He is my soulbound pairer, Adrian said. Interesting. Lucretia muttered with slight curiosity in her eyes without Adrian noticing. So young man, what is your name? Lucretia asked. My name is Equinox. Ma'am, Adrian answered. Do you believe in fate, young man? Lucretia asked. Adrian was astounded by this interaction since this was not mentioned in the forums, so he did not know how to answer. Instead, it was the old woman who initiated the conversation once more. Since I believe, young man, that our meeting is bound by fate, I shall gift this you, Lucretia said while handing a necklace to Adrian. Ding! You obtained the Amulet of Chaos. As soon as the notification sounded, blackish smoke swirled in Adrian's vicinity, blinding him and Sirius. When the smoke vanished, so did the old woman. This event dumbfounded Adrian, for he did not know what just happened. I just wanted an extra potion, Adrian thought while staring blankly at the area ahead. At a certain high-rise building in a metropolitan area, people facing holographic screens can be seen working. A notification appeared on one of the screens indicating that something has happened. Sir, it seems AI 626 has given the item, a person wearing a futuristic visor said. So finally, a year since it was coded into the game and someone finally triggered Protocol Deva, the man with a dignified aura said. Reminder, thank you for being with us on this journey. Please consider subscribing to Elnaudio for future updates. Chapter 7. Adrian pondered what to do next, since he did not know what just happened. He slapped his face and took a deep breath and inspected the item since it's already in his hand. The necklace has a violet-colored gem in the middle, while two demon-like claws are grabbing it, forming a crown-like aesthetic. Name: Amulet of Chaos, character bound. Tier: Description: a mysterious necklace said to have been forged by the Alpha God from the chaos energy the universe produced during its birth. It was given to the Asmodeans to use for unknown purposes. Effects: A. Increased MP regeneration by 100%. B. That's odd, it's my first time encountering a tier? Item: Adrian pondered. He recalled the tier list of items in game, which are common, uncommon, rare, epic, legendary, mythical, and transcendent. He never encountered this tier on the forums, or rather maybe it was not discussed because it was supposed to be a unique item. Good thing it's character bound, or else someone might steal it, Adrian whispered while looking sideways. He equipped the necklace and started heading outside the town to grind some EXP. Looking from above him was the mysterious old woman, but her visage turning into a beautiful lady that could attract even the gods. Finally, after a millennia, an heir is born. I can now rest knowing the future is in the hands of another. Will this world turn to ruin or will it flourish? It is amusing to foretell, Lucretia said as her figure slowly dissipates. In the plains outside of town, Adrian is wandering about in search for enemies with Sirius, as the puppy can be seen as eager to battle. The plains just outside of town are crowded with newbies leveling themselves to reach level 5, so that they can leave Genesis and really start their adventure, since the first town is basically like a tutorial. As Adrian with Sirius went a little further away from the plains and into a nearby forest, they encountered their first foe. Name: Rabbit LVL, 1 HP. 2020's description: a wild rabbit commonly seen at plains and forest, commonly hunted for their fur and meat. A very agile creature, especially when it perceives danger. Sirius use bite, Adrian commanded. Sirius lunged at the rabbit. The rabbit perceived the danger and tried to run, but Sirius was faster than it a little bit. Sirius managed to bite its leg, thereby immobilizing the rabbit and finishing it off consecutively with bite. The rabbit dropped some fur and meat. Adrian picked this up and continued finding prey, since he only has limited time playing. The duo finished their hunt when Adrian was level 4 with 99% EXP and Sirius now level 5. In order for players to reach level 5 and leave the town, they needed to accept a quest in subjugating a level 5 alpha wolf, which is the boss of the plains outside of town, thus ending the quest and receiving the teleportation scroll from the town chief when a player gives the quest item of wolf heart. The duo then started walking back to the town to receive the quest. Reminder: thank you for your time. If you'd like to support us, please subscribe to Elnaudio on YouTube. Chapter 8. Adrian looked at his status to check while he is heading back to town. Name: Equinox Race. Human title: None Job. Summoner LVL, 4 EXP. 99/100% HP. 140/140 MP. 50/50 VIT. 5+2 STR. 5 INT. 3+2 AGI. 4+1 DEX. 3+1 END. 5 available stat points. 15 skills. Summon, Seal, Inspect, Invigorate. He checked out the new skill he got when he leveled up to 4, since this is the last skill that will be given for free to the summoner. If he wanted a new skill, he would either need to use a skill book or upgrade his job class. Name: Invigorate. Tier: Common type. Active heal effect. Restores stamina and health of summon monsters by 50% and increases damage by 25% for 10 seconds after skill is cast. MP cost: 50 cooldown. 10 minutes cast time. 2 seconds. This was the first skill in his arsenal that had a cooldown, since his other skills had no cooldown, since summon only needed MP. Although the skill summon did not have a cooldown, but it still had a cast time, and you cannot summon a defeated soulbound creature for 1 hour after it is defeated. 1 hour might be short of looked upon objectively, but in a fast-paced battle, the wait time is obvious. Seal has special conditions in order for it to trigger its effects and is also used to recall a soulbound creature. Adrian looked at the in-game time and it was already noon. He has been in the game for 6 hours real-world time. He has 2 hours in-game time to finish off the boss before it gets dark. At night, monsters are stronger and more ferocious but drop better loot. He does not want to risk it fighting a buffed boss, so he hurried to the town hall. After getting the quest from the town chief, he hurriedly searched for the entrance of the instance dungeon that the boss spawns. In the game of Pandemonium, there are 3 types of fields for PvE or player versus enemies. The first is the field or overworld, where the spawn rate is random and sporadic. The second is the regular dungeon, where there is a set time in which enemies respawn and anybody can enter. The third is the instance dungeon, which only activates when the player/s have a specific quest or quest item that activates this type of dungeon. Instance dungeon: Wolf Den found. Would you like to enter? Y/N. Yes, Adrian replied. Adrian looking at Sirius as they are transported inside the instance dungeon. Sirius now looks like a fully grown dog. According to the forums he read, infant creatures fully grow when they reach level 5. Adrian smiled at the sight of Sirius fully grown and feeling excited of the upcoming battle, not realizing that when they are being transported, a foreign entity in the form of Smog came inside the instance with them. Reminder: your support means a lot. Please consider subscribing to Elnaudio on YouTube if you like these chapters. Chapter 9. Adrian with Sirius in tow are now inside the instance dungeon. The dungeon has 3 levels, each with rising difficulty. The first level consists of 5 enemies of level 1 wolves. Name: Feral Wolf LVL, 1 HP. 2020's description: wolves commonly seen on the outskirts of the plains. Due to not being touched by hunters, they have grown more ferocious and cunning than normal wolves. Before the wolves could surround Adrian, Sirius already propelled himself against the wolves. Sirius easily tore through the weak wolves due to the level difference. The experience points gathered in this dungeon will only be accumulated after completion. Sirius looked at Adrian with a proud face as if saying, "Look how strong I have become." Amused at the dog's banter, Adrian patted its head while praising it. Name: Sirius. Species: dog, demon lupus strain, male, LVL, 5 HP, 95/100 skills. Bite: howl, shadow sneak, sharp fang, passive. When Sirius hit level 5, he got a new skill. Name: sharp fang, passive, effect. Attacks made using biting motions are increased in damage by 15% and have a chance to induce the bleeding status by 5%. The duo headed deeper into the den and arrived at the second level of the instance dungeon. As soon as they are getting closer, their presence alerted the two wolves guarding this level. The two wolves did not immediately attack but sent growl and snarls as if warning the duo not to go any deeper. Adrian used Inspect on the two enemies. Name: Feral Beta Wolf LVL, 3 HP, 60 description. A type of wolf stronger than the typical wolf due to being higher in the hierarchy. These types of wolves only follow instructions from the leader of the pack or the alpha. Although higher level, Adrian was still worried because two level 3 wolves with coordination was still quite tricky to deal with. No choice, then we have to buff ourselves. Sirius use howl, Adrian commanded. Sirius suddenly let loose a howl that made the two beta wolves charge forward. Name: Howl Effect. Boosts all allies' damage by 10% for 30 minutes. Cooldown: 1 hour. Sirius, be careful not to get double-teamed. Focus on dealing with one first before attacking the remaining wolf, Adrian commanded. Sirius lunged at the beta wolf located to his right. He reached the beta wolf and used his skill bite. Feral Beta Wolf greater than -45 horsepower. Adrian was amazed by the damage done by Sirius because it almost one-shot a LVL-3 Beta Wolf. After Sirius executed the skill, he was tackled by the other Beta Wolf, which resulted in him being knocked back by a meter from his position. Sirius -10 horsepower. Fortunately, the Beta Wolf did not execute a skill and just knocked Sirius back. Sirius then counterattacked, which resulted in immediately disintegrating the health of the Beta Wolf he attacked first. Great job, Sirius. There is only one left, praised Adrian. The remaining Beta Wolf turned insane due to the loss of its comrade. The Beta Wolf just lashed out and targeted Adrian even though he did not accumulate aggro. Sirius then saw the Beta Wolf charging towards his master, so he utilized his skill Shadow Sneak. Name: Shadow Sneak Effect. The user dives into its shadow and emerges from the shadow of the target. The next attack made after the jump deals twice the damage. When no target is chosen, the user emerges after 2 seconds. Cooldown: 30 seconds. Sirius then vanished and reappeared behind the Beta Wolf and bit its neck. Due to the empowered attack, the Beta Wolf immediately disintegrated into particles. I thought I was done for. Thanks, buddy, Adrian said while petting Sirius. Too bad I can't assist you, buddy. I can only learn my auxiliary magic at LVL-10. Fight for me until then. Okay? He continued. Worf, Sirius replied, probably telling Adrian that he can count on it. Well, let us continue. You only have 20 minutes left on you, buff, Adrian said, motioning to Sirius to follow him. They reached the last level in just under a minute since it was not far from where they were. Sitting on an elevated boulder was the Alpha Wolf that will be their last obstacle. Name: Feral Alpha Wolf LVL, 5 HP, 150/150 description. Only the strongest wolf can be called the Alpha. Known for its speed and strength, this creature can be called the peak predator. Reminder: wishing you a wonderful day. If you enjoy this content, please consider subscribing to Elnaudio on YouTube. Chapter 10. The duo readied themselves for combat since the Alpha Wolf jumped off the boulder and landed on the ground 10 meters away from them, as if telling the challengers to brace themselves. The feral Alpha Wolf is about twice the size of an average wolf, which means it's 4 times the size of Sirius. The wolf has brown fur with some silver fur peeking through, and scars can be seen on its body, signifying that it has participated in many battles. Sirius start off with shadow sneak, then follow up with bite, Adrian commanded. Sirius then immediately dove into his shadow and a few seconds later emerged from the alpha wolf's shadow. The alpha wolf then noticed the presence behind it and tried to dodge. Unfortunately, the alpha wolf reacted half a second late and was bitten in its tail. Feral alpha wolf, -30 horsepower. A notification appeared in front of Adrian. Triggered the status bleed. The feral alpha wolf will lose 1% of its HP for the rest of the battle. The alpha wolf then suddenly turned hostile and swung its tail to shake off Sirius. The alpha wolf managed to shake off Sirius and flung him towards a nearby wall, damaging him. Sirius, -30 horsepower. Enemy notification. The feral alpha wolf used the skill Alpha Howl. Its damage and speed will increase by 20%. It also resets its aggro. The alpha wolf suddenly got a burst of speed, then lunged at Adrian. Sirius, seeing its enemy suddenly attacking its master, jumped into the path of the attack and took the brunt of the damage. Sirius got flung towards Adrian, which made Adrian also be flung due to the force. Player Equinox, -45 horsepower. Sirius, -50 HP. Adrian looked at Sirius' HP bar and is now down to 5%. Adrian looked at the alpha wolf and it seemed to be rooted in place, which he found odd, but he remembered that the alpha wolf had an attack skill called Retaliate. Name, Retaliate effect. Uses the body's full force in order to damage the enemy for 150% of attack damage, but tires out the user's body in the process for 3 seconds. Cooldown, 5 minutes. Good thing that skill has a 3-second leeway, Adrian thought. Let my other halves be blessed by the power of my soul. Invigorate, Adrian chanted. Sirius' HP and stamina went up by 50% and its damage increased. Adrian checked the remaining time for the Howl buff. Howl buff, 5 o'clock minutes remaining. Sirius used shadow sneak, then bite, Adrian commanded. Sirius dissolved into its shadow, then sprung up from the alpha wolf's shadow. He then went and used bite on the alpha wolf's leg. Feral alpha wolf, -80 horsepower. Adrian was shocked to see the damage value, which was a whopping 80 horsepower. The reason for the high damage is the stacking damage buff of Howl and Invigorate plus the double damage proc on Shadow Sneak. Name, Feral Alpha Wolf. HP, 30/150. Bleeding. Just one more attack, Sirius, Adrian yelled. Before Sirius could finish off the boss, it suddenly entered its berserk mode. The boss suddenly has a red aura around it, signifying it has entered its final stage of power-up. When a boss usually enters berserk mode, it gains 50% more attack damage, but also receives 50% more damage in return. Both the boss and Sirius lunged at each other, which resulted in both of them receiving damage. Dungeon notification. You have defeated the boss Feral Alpha Wolf. You can now achieve LVL 5. Received the Wolf's Heart quest item. Player notification. Player level up. Sirius level up. Sirius has achieved the title Alpha. Adrian checked on Sirius before giving a sigh of relief. He got lucky that Sirius managed to hang on to 1 horsepower, then he wondered how did Sirius get a title. He then suddenly stopped moving and wondered why is the portal not materializing yet. Suddenly, the corpse of the Alpha Wolf suddenly started to reanimate itself while smoke seemingly pools onto its now missing heart. When the corpse fully reanimated, an unknown force sent a shock wave knocking back Adrian and ended up killing Sirius. Equinox, -10 HP. Sirius, -10 HP. Player notification. The soulbound Sirius has returned to your soul corridor. Adrian looked at the now reanimated Alpha Wolf. Name, Undead Alpha Wolf. LVL? HP? Description. A wolf corpse reanimated by? Suddenly Adrian heard a voice coming from the chest cavity of the undead wolf. Give me the amulet and your life. The undead wolf opened its mouth and suddenly shot a beam of energy that looked eerie. Adrian's HP went directly to 0. Then he heard an announcement. Player announcement. The item Amulet of Chaos second passive has now been unsealed. User has triggered the ability Karma and will now be sent to the Hall of Armageddon. All of a sudden, a door with swiggling dark energy appeared behind Adrian's avatar and sucked him inside. He got transported to what looked like an archaic castle hall. The heard an announcement. Server-wide announcement. The game will now prepare for its next big update. The update will consume about 5 hours for it to be fully installed. All players will be logged out of the game within 10 seconds. Thank you for your consideration. 10, 9, 3, 2, 1. All players will now be disconnected from the game. Reminder: your presence is appreciated. Don't forget to subscribe to El Naudio for more stories and updates.